Blades fans, subscribe to Blades Ramble. Up the Blades.
As always, the Ramble is sponsored by Action Coach Sheffield. If you're a growing business and you want support to continue that growth, they are the people to speak to. Thank you for John and the team for their continued support for the Ramble. And today's Ramble is also sponsored by V&B Auto Centres at Handsworth. They're still offering that fantastic deal of 50% off your next MOT when you let them know you're a Rambler. And thank you again to Aaron and the team for their support also. What is happening, Blades? And welcome back to the Blades Ramble. I am, of course, Jimmy, and this is hot off the presser. Chris Wilder has just finished rambling on, as he talked about. I know. He's a fan. I'm a fan. About the upcoming game against Bristol City. Sheffield United go into this game on Monday night 3-0 up on aggregate. Anything better than a 2-0, you know, we can afford to lose by 2 goals and still get through to Wembley. The focus, as expected and as it should be, is on going out to win the game, not just to keep it tight, not just to be sensible and just sort of shut up shop. We will undoubtedly be going out to win this game, and we should. It's our last home game of the season. Whatever happens, it could be our last game of the season, but it's certainly our last home game of the season. There were a little bit of a rallying cry at the end in terms of full house and things like that. I know that's been a controversial subject, and we will cover that because there's different intangibles to it. But let's get into his press conference at the moment. Rob Staten started it off this morning from Radio Sheffield. Good to see Rob back. Always asking good questions, the Radio Sheffield boys. Appreciate them attending the pressers for us. He asked what's been the key to preparing for the playoff campaign and what's the key going into this fixture with Bristol City. And Wilder says it's consistency. And in our attitude and approach, it was a fabulous result on Thursday. We need to get the job done. We need to earn the right. We've been in the game too long to know that it's done and dusted after just one leg. We never take anything for granted. One action can change a game, and but we've given ourselves the best opportunity. When he says one action can change a game, we saw that in plain sight, didn't we, against Bristol City on Thursday. The sending off was undoubtedly the change of momentum in the game. I did think we were slightly the better team. We weren't a 3-0 better team, but that one action changed the whole momentum of the game. So, and at that stage, we got right until after the first 45 minutes. So that's just one half, essentially. I know we scored. The sending off was in the first half, technically speaking. But sorry, I've got a bit of a cold coming on, so I'm going to keep sniffling. I do apologise. But the sending off was technically in the first half, but it was after the 45-minute mark. So you could squeeze everything into 45 minutes of football. So that huge game-changing moment all came in 45 minutes. Now, we've got 90 to play. So there was a sending off and 3 goals within 45 minutes, and we've got 90 minutes to play. It is not 100% over by any means. We certainly still have to respect the opposition. We'll need a very professional performance, which we've been very good at for the majority of the season, being a professional side and seeing games out. So fingers crossed we can do it one more time. But Bristol City will be coming and throwing everything at us because they have to. Anyway, back to the presser. Apologies. How do you handle the pressure? How did your team handle the pressure of the situation that faced you on Thursday night? Asked Rob. He says, we've been great since Burnley, to be honest. The players have been knocking on the door. They all want to play. But in the right way. The attitude's been good. The injury record's been great as well. The injuries that we have suffered, Harry Souttar, Ollie Arblaster, Reece Norrington-Davies, have been contact injuries and in a lot of ways can't be avoided. But having consistency in availability is key. And that's something we've really focused on since we've returned to the football club. It was something we did very well in our first stint, and we needed to get back to that because having your best players available is essential for success. We've now reset, we're refocused, we're determined, and we're going to be professional about trying to get this job done on Monday night. Rob says, how important is the atmosphere at Bramall Lane on Monday night? And he said, we've all witnessed it. I've witnessed it personally, both as a fan, a player, and a manager. I'm in a bit of a unique club, he says, in that regard, but it's an incredible experience. The lift it gives and the energy it gives to the players is incredible. I'm banging on about, and I know I'm banging on about people coming and supporting us, but we're a big club at this level. We live for these big games. It makes it difficult for opposition players too. Coventry did it the other night, last night against Sunderland. Their fans roared them on. Leeds have done it all season, he said, to be fair. Burnley did it to us at Turf Moor when they needed to win. Their fans roared them on. It makes you run faster. It makes you jump higher. The shirt feels lighter. The players play with freedom. The supporters make that shirt light for them and have done since 2016, since we walked through the door. I also think the players deserve the atmosphere and the full house at Bramall Lane. We want to finish the job together. Rob says, continuing in that vein, it's not just getting through the tie, is it? It's wanting to win this game. And he said, we always go out to win. It was the same when we're in the Premier League. It's never been about keeping the score down. It's always about how can we get at them and win the game. Every game in this division, we're a big club, as I've said. Every club in this division, we want to win. What kind of an achievement would it be to win these playoffs? Basically, I think that's where we were going. I've just put achievement, so I'm assuming that's what the question was. Apologies. Wilder says the narrative is usually that the team that gets the closest has the most pressure on them. I've not seen that in my team. I didn't see it on Thursday. A lot of people will be saying the narrative will be around the fact that we need to go up. That's not actually true. Obviously, it makes it so much easier for our progression, and that's the aim, undoubtedly. But that's not always the case in terms of we need to go up to continue our progression as a club. All the focus is on Monday. I'm really proud to lead this group. We're on the cusp of another successful night. Respecting the opposition, I understand that, but we've had an outstanding season and we now need to take the opportunity and go one step further. What would it mean to you? Love this question. What would it mean to you to create more history as the Sheffield United manager by being the first man to successfully take them through the playoffs and win a trophy at Wembley? He says it means anything more than I've wanted in my entire managerial career. My first desire was obviously to go up through the automatics, but now we can go and make history. There's still a lot of work to be done. I'm quickly off the pitch. I got them quickly off the pitch on Thursday night. That wasn't for sure. That's just how it is. The club have given me some incredible moments, and we all now collectively want to make that next step in continuing our progression. What have I said there? What winners? Something about winners. We want to. Having match winners. I've scribbled a bit out, so I couldn't read it. Thank you to Lee, who sent me a AI transcription service that I can potentially look at to do this for me, and so I don't have to write it down. I can just explain to you as I'm going along. So maybe we're always trying to improve in Ramble, and maybe notes, like scrappy little notes, are not the way forward. Anyway, you've got match winners all over the pitch. How important has that been to your success this season? Because he touched on players like Harrison Burrows. He says, we always want our players at the top of the pitch to score. We haven't got a Billy Sharp in this side, somebody who's going to get 25 to 30 goals for you. But that doesn't bother me so much as I don't mind where the goals come from. Our defence has also been outstanding this season. Burnley have stitched us up a bit by being absolutely incredible with their clean sheet record. But we've also had a good few clean sheets this season, and we can score goals from anywhere on the pitch throughout this side. What are the current injuries like then? Asks Rob in his final question. He says the situation leading into Monday. He says we made a difficult decision regarding Femi and Brio and Brereton Diaz to rest them on Thursday, and they will now be involved on Monday. I have to say credit to the sports science guys, the physios and the doctors. I'm judging from a clean bill of health. I'm selecting from a clean bill of health now. Previously, we've had a brilliant availability record, and we needed to get back to that. All the players are back. They're all together. If they're not in the team, they're still a together group. Callum O'Hare, for example, has been outstanding. Kiefer Moore, Tom Davis, Alfie Gilchrist has got minutes recently. Femi Sariki, Sam McCallum has got minutes. They respect their teammates. They want to be involved individually, obviously, but they go about it the right way, which was great to hear. Danny Hall then came in from Sheffield Star, who I will touch on in a minute as well, because he's released another good article this morning, which I've briefly had a chance to have a look at. Danny's first question was, where's Jez? What's up with Jez Raksaki? And he says he will be involved. What's been the issue? Presses Danny, which was good. He had a tight hamstring, so we've been careful with him. We could have gambled on him if we'd have needed a result in the last 2 games of the regular season, so Stoke and Blackburn, but we didn't feel we needed to. We could have also played him on Thursday and risked him a little bit, but again, we didn't feel the need to risk him. So whilst it was a surprise to see him out of the squad, it has been injury related. And again, that leans more towards, in my opinion, it leans towards the strength of the squad in terms of what we've got available. We didn't need Jez Raksaki on the bench the other night. I know obviously the game turned out very well for us, better than we could have even expected. But they've made sensible decisions on players, looking at the medium to long term as well, which I really like. Danny says you're quite a humble side as well, aren't you? In terms of you're not going to take anything for granted going into this game. He said, no, absolutely. We need to be at our strongest. The game was tight on Thursday up until the sending off, although I feel we created the better chances. Our XG was higher in the first half. It has to be said. In the second half, they sat in. The momentum and the pressure, as we sort of came into the game in the second half, and the momentum and the pressure we were putting on them, I have to say, we did recognise that we could continue that momentum with the quality we had to bring off the bench. But it's back to 11 against 11 now, and they're dangerous opposition. I know there's been some talk around their manager's reaction to the penalty, and that's what swung it. It did swing the game, but I still think it was a penalty. You speak to anybody in the game, the majority will tell you he's had no intention of playing the ball, so it's the red card, and it was a penalty decision. I also think we were a little bit hard done by with Ty's goal. So there's all sorts of little arguments you could lean into, but I think the ref got it right on the penalty decision. There will be a wounded animal on Monday night, and we'll have to be ready for them. Danny then circled back to the injury conversation. How have you done it? What have you tangibly done to improve the injury situation at Bramall Lane? He says everyone has their own ways, and I'm not sort of looking back at any previous regime and judging them differently to us. I'm no miracle worker, but improvements at the training ground and investing in the facilities and the academy and Shirecliffe were essential. Also recruitment too. You have to do your due diligence on who you're bringing in, their previous injury records. We will also take into account that we had quite an aging group as well as we came into the team the second time around. We need to create a positive atmosphere, and it's really difficult to do when your best players and your most influential players are in the treatment room. They can't affect the group from there. We need to get this right. We looked at the bench. We had last time we played Sunderland at the Stadium of Light, and it was so light. He says we changed that in January. We changed it up, and we have now got strength in depth. What about having Tom Davis available, says Danny. How good is that? He says it's brilliant. It's a great bonus to have Tom. We've seen glimpses previously of what he can do, but I'm really pleased to have him back. He's a popular boy and a really good player. City was on a booking the other night, so I thought it was a sensible decision to bring Tom on. And he'll be a really big player for us on Monday night. I wonder if that meant he will be starting. I thought that leaned into that a little bit. Hopefully he has a Blades career similar to the career that he had at Everton. He's had similar issues to Rian and others. So unfortunate with injuries, but he's used to playing in pressure games. I want him to get back to being he wants to get back to being a footballer and playing in these sort of big games, these pressure situations. Stu then came on, and I thought I could ramble on, but this man talked for a long, long time. So get comfortable. We've got about 6 questions to go through, 7. Stu asked about the mindset of the team. He says it's something we put up on the board in terms of focusing on our mindset. We dream to do. Since Burnley, there's been no motivation needed. There shouldn't be any motivation needed. If I drag one of my mates off the cop and ask him to play in the side, he might not be good enough, but I don't need to motivate him to play for Sheffield United. I understood the point, but the players aren't Sheffield United fans, are they? So I got that, but I don't know if it matched up completely. I may need to give them a nudge and let them, but they know what they can achieve. Basically, it's over to them. Come on, it's your time. It's your time as a player. Go and produce. I believe they will. It's in our hands. If they say yes on Monday night, and then we give ourselves a chance to get one step closer to Wembley and one step closer to the Premier League. Oh my goodness! Was the groundwork for this success done in January to give yourself a better chance? How, did you identify the characters and sort of, you touched on the injury situation. He said we work hard on our player research. We talk to agents all the time, plus our experience as a management team. Across the management team, we've worked with loads and loads of players, so we usually know a little bit about either the club that they're coming from or somebody at the club that they're at. So Harry Clark's a prime example. We knew him from his time at Arsenal. We then know him from his time at Ipswich. Kiefer's played with him at Ipswich. Other players have worked with him previously. So we got a lowdown on Harry Clark. And then there's also the conversation that I have with them. Tyrese is an example of that. I got to know him as a boy, and I knew exactly that his motivations were right for coming here. And I thought we could get a tune out of Tyrese Campbell, which we certainly have done, let's be right. But not just that, also the big hitters that were also here. He talks about Gus and Anel, who he didn't sign. He said I had to sit down with them and make sure that their mindset was right. And I think you saw that it was at Preston in the first game. There were no messing around from either player. I needed to make sure I could get a tune out of them and that their heads weren't down. We also need to sign good players. That's another big part of it. And being backed by 30,000 United fans, that's a really good combination. Some players may be bombed at other clubs. Can we get a tune out of them? Can we make them a good player? Didsy's a prime example of that. Didn't have the best of times at some of the clubs before us. Came to us and we're an absolute magician. Also, it's a gut feeling sometimes. We're leaning more towards the data aspect at this club, which is the future, and we'll certainly embrace that. But there's also the old eye test that cannot be, and the intangibles that cannot be understated. Do the fans' experience in previously being in playoff campaigns help? He said, well, to be honest, Stu, it's up to us. The atmosphere was electric on Thursday. We want that atmosphere all the time. The punters were great. It's up to us to produce the type of performances that maintain that support. They will feel like I was being a bit harsh, he said, by, I felt a little bit harsh in terms of letting them celebrate very briefly and then getting them back in. But the punters will know the message I was trying to send. We'll have moments on Monday when they have the ball and we'll have to suffer. But we want to give the fans experiences. We want them to be saying, like I do about Leicester and the old 4th Division days. We want the fans to be saying, were you there when? I get that finances are difficult and it's challenging at the moment for supporters. I get that. We keep prices low at this football club to try and make it accessible to all. We're a people's football club. We want that ground, but we want that ground to be full. Our average gate over the last few years must be 28, 29, 30,000, very close to capacity. And that's a testament to the club. The fans have got a huge part to play in this. Do you think the overall squad, the players all contribute towards the success? And he says, Stu, it's one of the pillars that we've built from. We have to be together 100%. We've all been there. I remember not being picked for the side and coming out of the ground and sort of saying to, like, my dad and my mum are there and my mates, and they're all saying, like, what's up? And you'll say, oh, I'm not in the team today. And they'll say, get back in there and support your team. And that's the message that I have for my players. If they don't want to be a part of this group, they won't be a part of this group. It's a brilliant group to work with. we're giving them that environment to grow and develop. Callum O'Hare's a prime example. He's got the most minutes this season for us, or he certainly had the most minutes for us. We decided to change it up and go 2 up top. But then he comes roaring back. He supports whoever's playing in his place, and he comes roaring back, and he's been incredible. They're all in, and that is a must. It's a non-negotiable at this club. Just on Callum then, says Stu, as he continued, is it a difficult conversation to have? He's like one of the standout players that hasn't been featuring regularly at the moment. But is that a difficult conversation to have? And Wilder says, it's always, I always feel for the players. But it starts at the beginning. When they come and join this club, this is what you're joining. It's a squad. It's not a game for 12, 13 or 14 players. It's 20, 21, 22. It's not those who start. It's those on the periphery. And I've talked about this before. He says, I was lucky enough to bump into Martin Craney at the Bash Bash. And then he went off on a bit of a tangent, which was understandable and necessary that he did. And just said, actually, while we're on this, can I just say what an incredible day it was both for Chris Basham and for Weston Park. 17,000 turned out. The money that was raised for the brilliant charity that it is. He mentioned his wife Francesca, who played a huge part in the day. He just wanted to sort of thank everybody for their show of support and thank those that took part in raising money for a brilliant cause. So absolutely incredible. But then he sort of circled back to say, like we've always said at this club, it's not the starters take care of themselves. He doesn't need to have a word with Michael Cooper and say, come on, you need to be up for this today, because Michael Cooper knows that 99% of the time he's starting, he's our number one goalkeeper. It's the players on the periphery that you need to be talking to. He said it's the Martin Craneys, it's the Gary Medines that come in and play 10, 15 games for you and make that difference. It's a brilliant occasion. It was a brilliant occasion for Bash, a brilliant cause. It was great to see everybody. And then he said, and I've lost my train of thought now. And then they said, well, that's probably a good place to wrap it up then. So overall, from that presser, he is bang up for this, bang up for the game on Monday night. No gimmies, no assumptions that we threw, which I love and is necessary. You know, Chris Wilder's professional, and I know rival fans will laugh at that and scoff at that comment, me saying he's professional, but he's a experienced, and I'm going to say professional manager that's done a fantastic job for our club holistically, not just this season, but he was never going to take this game for granted. And I'm excited to see what sort of team we go with, because I think we'll still be strong. It's interesting to note whether we will stick with the really strong lineup, which we think is potentially our best 11, or whether players like he alluded to, like Tom Davies coming in there as well. Just on the fact that he wants the fans there. I spoke quite openly on stream about it yesterday. I think it's a tough one, this, because we haven't set the prices for the game. It's not a club decision to charge this much. I think it's 36 quid in John Street in the South Stand, 30 quid for the Cop. It's not cheap for, if you're buying for a family. It's very likely that Wembley's on the horizon now, which might mean some people take the gamble and start booking either accommodation or travel and think about the prices of tickets down there as well. It may be a choice. We've just renewed the season tickets. It's really tough. What he's saying is, if you can make it down to support the team, then they deserve it. And I get that. But there's two sides to this, isn't there? Not everybody can afford it, and I understand that too. So those that can get there and want to get there with everything they can, I'm sure they will get there. I'm really excited for the game. I've got my ticket, and I cannot wait. We'll be in Selena before the game, as we've spoken about. They are our pre-match sponsor, as our Triple Point. Thank you to both bars for their continued support, or bar and brewery. And we hope to see as many of you there as we can. Let's get into some comments now then regarding this presser. David Vinter starts us off saying, don't want to be arrogant, but after watching last night, if we turn up, we win. Looking forward to it all, up the Blades, up all the Rambles. No, it's not arrogant, David. I think it's it could come back to bite us, couldn't it? That sort of mentality. But I've got like a grey streak there on him, yeah. I always think it's a bit of fluff or something, but it's like a grey. Anyway, but yeah, it's hard not to be confident. It's a balancing act, isn't it? Whether to be confident or whether we're seen as to be overconfident. We've finished so far in front of the majority of these teams. We should be winning on paper, which football is not played on. We are the best side of all four, and if we turn up and play at our maximum, we will get promoted. But we can't guarantee that we're going to turn up our way. That's the key. And I know you've put that as a caveat as well. Jay says, don't want to see us sit back. We need to go for it. Up the blades, up the full-time ramble. Like and subscribe. Thank you, mate. Mark says, morning, Jimmy. All eyes on Monday now. Expect a different Bristol. They have nothing to lose. We need to be on it from minute one. Let's put the tie to bed. Up the blades, up the ramble, up the positive Meldrew. Mark says, so if he goes for it and we get picked off, do you promise not to moan? If he goes for it and we get picked off, do you promise not to moan? If we lose this game, I mean, if we go out of the tie, do I promise not to moan? Not at all. Why would I promise not to moan? Why would I promise not to moan? You've made this comment, Mark. I'm interested because you've made this comment before I've come live. So if he goes, I want it to be a professional performance. I don't want us to go gung-ho, but I don't think we will go gung-ho. So I don't really know what you're after there. And apologies if I've misread it, pal, because it's not, I know you're probably not coming with knives out, but we have to get the job done, don't we? I don't want to get beat, but by the same token, I don't want to be irresponsible and say, right, rest everybody and just rest everyone for the final because we're definitely there. By the same token, I don't want Gus playing 90 minutes and absolutely slogging himself because we're 3 goals to good and we can afford to have him on the bench. So it's a balance, I think. Ray says, I don't think we'll sit back. We'll carefully go for it and put the game to bed before half-time. No point in holding on. I don't know where I'm going with that. Just hold on, I'm coming home. Because they will for sure come at us. So no sitting back, up the blades, up all the rambles, like and subscribe. Thank you, Ray. Ricky from Just United says, after last night makes you remember why Sunderland can be so dangerous after a mistake. The beaters at the stadium alike through 2 mistakes. We need to be perfect on the night, regardless of what happens. That is very, very presumptuous, Ricky, that not only we will go through, that Sunderland will go through. Do not discount Coventry, by the way. They've got some good players in that side. Jack Redoni. Anyway, we need to enjoy it. Like and subscribe, up the ramble, and shout out to Dry Bry. Amazing job. Thank you to Ricky, because I meant to say this actually as well. Dry Bry, when Saturday's come, has just hit 1,000 subscribers. If that does not inspire people who are trying to start their own content creation journey, then it's a brilliant story from Bry, and well done to him. Top man. Well done, Bry. Great job, mate. Ray says, maybe that's why we should play Holding in the final, assuming we get there, and it's Sunderland. Absolutely. Jimmy's done a Joe. What do you mean, come on late? Joe from Turfcast. I came on as soon as the presser had finished. I can't go live before. I scheduled it for 10. And then, I had to come on. I had to wait till he finished. James Toslin says, Wilder's rambling on there, Jimmy. I think he's definitely a rambler, pal. He's definitely a rambler. We see you, tough day. We see you. I think the presser has gone over time. It has, Toddy. Yeah, it did. Nate says, I think we should stick to the 4-4-2 going forward. We'll look far more dangerous going forward. I get it, Nate. And I do like the 4-4-2. Where does Callum O'Hare fit in? Callum O'Hare has been one of our best players throughout the season, really. Not just over, and I think he's got better the last few games. He can't just be a cameo, man. I nearly got an earful from Mr. Vancouver. I don't ever want to hear you call him a super sub. I didn't mean it like that, Mr. V, but he's right, because he's been brilliant. So surely we have to find a way to get Callum O'Hare in the side, and that means playing with a 10. So we do look good with a 4-4-2, undoubtedly, and we looked very good against Bristol City. But you could also argue that Callum O'Hare changed the game when he came on, and that's when we took the game away from them. Rossi says, morning, Jimmy. Good morning, pal. Hope you're well. Steve says, just had a thought, Jimmy, isn't Femi Sariki fit for the second leg? Yes, he is. May then be able to rest Hamza for a more attacking right back. Yeah, I think that's an option, mate. I think it wouldn't surprise me. I think due to I know he's back a lot sooner than a lot of us thought. It wouldn't surprise me to see Femi on the bench and come off the bench against Bristol. I think he's an attacking. We don't need to win the game as well. Remember, we don't need to sort of go at them. But they will come at us, so maybe we can catch them. There's arguments to them for and against it, isn't there? I think go strong, get the job done, show intent, says Rossi. Interesting. Xylene says, morning, Jimmy. When did you start this channel? Just checked, been subbed since Feb 2023. Time flies. I started it, so you were about 6 months in. So I started on the 4th of September 2022. So thank you for your long-time support. Very much appreciated. Chris says, come on, you red and white wizards. Absolutely right, pal. Ian says, morning, Jimmy. Watching from Meadowhall Car Park. Thanks for the update. Like and subscribe, everyone, please. Up the ramble. Yeah, don't go in, mate. Just don't go in. Late to the party. Good morning, Blade, says Maury. How's the hair coming on, mate, for Ramble on the Road? Have we finished it yet for Monday night? Are we getting there? Thailand Tim says, life advice, please, Jim. Does 3-0 mean I don't need to get up at 2 a.m. and watch the home leg when I have work to do on Tuesday? No, unfortunately, mate, it means you still have to get out of bed and make sure we get the job done. It's part of our following. I was going to say our religion then. I don't want to ever sort of bring that into the ramble, but it's part of our culture, isn't it? We have to do it. Brett says, I'm a super positive Blade today. Still got work left to do, but for the first time in my life, and despite watching us in previous playoffs, I can't wait for it. In Wilder We Trust, up all the rambles. We're all united, aren't we? Yes, we are, mate. We're all united. So I'm pretty sure most of us will be looking forward to the game at this point. How many of us, in all honesty, will be nervous? Even though we're 3-0 up, how many will be nervous come kick-off on Monday? Because I think I will. I know myself well enough now to think there's half a chance if they score early and all this sort of thing. I'll be doing all the different connotations in my head. And just while we're on it as well, Dave the Nose has done a nose picks on our shorts. So if you go to the Blades Ramble channel, after this, you'll be able to see Dave's team for the lineup. It's only a 2-minute video, but thank you to Dave the Nose for his continued brilliant contribution to this channel. What a man he is, by the way. Bryce says, come on, people, help us grow this fabulous channel. Like, subscribe, and share. Thanks. Bryce, you absolute ledge. Let's see how close we are to 7-8 now. We are 4 subscribers away to from 7,800. 4 subs away. Brilliant. The support for us recently this season has been incredible. Absolutely unreal. Ludicrous that Harrison Burrows and Callaway don't have a song. Maury, I was just about to, before I went live, and then Chris Wilder cut me off. He went live before I could get this message out into the Platinum group. I am potentially proposing that, Maury, you're going to be the boy to potentially, like Disco Dave style, and Disco Dave can get involved in this as well. We're going to try and create some songs, probably just for the Platinum group at this point in time, unless people are confident with them being released into the wild. But just film yourself as a short, like Dave the Nose does for his nose picks, as a short on your phone, portrait, and sing a song, and we'll put a track over the back of it, because you can do that with shorts. We'll put a backing track over it, and we'll try and get some, just as a bit of a laugh. It's not going to be anything serious, but we'll keep it in our groups for now. But if we're comfortable with it, and all parties are comfortable, it has to be the artist as well, then we'll maybe think about releasing it if we get a couple of good songs for players. So, like they do Ahmed Hodzic. If somebody wants to do that as a starter, just to get us up and running, then you're more than welcome. Song idea: when marimba rhythm starts to play, dance with me, make me sway. Burrows running down the wing, scoring, goals making, us Blade sing. Do do do. Is that the way? Is that the rhythm that we're going for, Maury? You have to think. For me, it's got to be bang, 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 really straightforward, because otherwise terraces are not going to sing it. So while I like that, you know, the most complex ones we've got is like the Waka Waka and stuff like that. In there, we don't get much more involved than that because you've got to make sure everybody can follow it. Good morning, Blades, says Will. Coach booked? Not yet. Not yet. Up the Blades, up the Ramble. We may well need a quote for 2 coaches at this rate, the amount of demand that we've got. So we shall see. Morning all, by the way, says Brian. Morning, pal. Lee says, in the air, flying back from holiday while the game is playing on Monday. Looking forward to landing and seeing another positive result, which I'm sure it will be. Get behind the lads and be loud. Up the Blades. Nice one, Lee. Top contributor to the channel. Will be coming on next year. Lonely, he's Mr. Lonely. Andy says Sunderland looked like proper Sunderland last night. I'm not convinced by Sunderland yet. Blades v Sunderland will be a cracking and deserved final. It is a deserved final if you look at the league position. Yeah, it's not done in that tie yet. It's not done in our tie, but it's certainly not done in that tie. Hairdressing tips from Jimmy as well on this channel. What more can we ask for? It's got everything. Hairdressing tip, was that when I was plucking the silver, trying to get the silver thing out of shot? But it's just one of them, innit? Just one. What can you do, mate? I'm certainly not giving out any hairdressing tips to anybody. Morning, everyone, says Chip Butty. Good morning, pal. Up the Blades, up the Ramble. Do. Wilder is a Rambler. He's aware of us, mate. Don't you worry. He's aware. Leviathan says, we need more of that play, Jimmy. We get our Cooper. We need more of that play, Jimmy. We get our Cooper. Maury says, I'm sure I followed you back in January 2024 and just in final touches. Oh, yeah. Nice, mate. Nice. It is a work of art, I have to say. Matt says, nothing's a given, but a decent performance on Monday with an electric atmosphere is the perfect way to send CW and the lads to Wembley. I know we got a lap of honour at the last home game against Blackburn. I'll be amazed if they don't do one on Monday if we get through. So surely people, if that's going to be the extra thing that kick people over the line to get there, then surely that may help sway some people's decisions. I'll be nervous, but we'll win, says Maury. Defo, mate, I'll do it. Nice. I thought you might. I don't know what them pipes are like, Maury, whether you've got a decent singing voice on you, but we'll see. Cooler King says, fantastic result for Sunderland last night, but I didn't think they were that impressive. I agree. In fact, I saw nothing from either side that Blade should be overly concerned about if you get to Wembley. Correct, mate. Well done with the caveat. I appreciate that too. Josh says, would love to see Brooks get a start on Monday. I think he might. Well, to be fair, I'm not expecting loads of changes, but he's in my team. He's in the team that I picked. And you'll have to go and see Dave's nose picks to see if he picked him too. David said, good morning from the land of Oz. Good morning, pal. Good evening to you, I assume. A great first leg and same commitment required for Monday night. 2-1 Blades and looking forward to Ramble to Wembley. Let's all keep positive. Up the Blades, up the Ramble. Oh, yes, we can get excited. When marimba rhythm starts to play, says Mark Meldrew. So he's going to be singing that one as well, I think. Is that what you're saying, Marco? That'll be interesting. Maury says, I predict a Brooksy riot. Too close to Leeds, though. And it don't fit, Maury. It don't fit. You've got some good ones, and then you've got some terrible ones. I predict a Brooksy riot. Don't work, mate. Don't work. Thailand Tim says, it's one of them main Buddhist holidays here, Sunday and Monday. So I'll head to a temple and make an offering in case that absolves me if I don't quite wake up in time. Just, you know what you need to do, Tim. You know what you need to do, mate. Right, I just want to touch on this very briefly before we go. So Danny Hall has released an article in Sheffield Star. I've only scanned it because he released it just as the presser was going wild, going live. And he basically has called on those fans that are booing Jack Robinson. He thinks he understands that there's some online opinion and negativity towards him coming back into the side, but obviously the boos are completely unacceptable, and it thinks he's been really poorly treated by some of the fan base. I just want to have my say on this because everybody knows my opinion in terms of where he fits in our squad. I don't think he's the best choice for captain. I don't think he's our best centre half, and I think a pairing of Rob Holding and Anel is a much stronger pairing. He does make me nervous when he plays at times, but when I've said all my piece, I always want to be honest on streams, so I will never waver from my honest opinion. And opinions can change as well, so I'm not expecting that one to change. But it's not something that anybody should ever be beaten over the head with if your opinion does change. I'm expecting my opinion won't change on this. But having said all of that, in terms of my actual opinion of his talent, you can never boo your own players. You can never not support your own players. You can criticize, you can be angry, you can be upset with players. And in the moment, in emotional moments, you can say things that may be deemed as negative in the cold light of day. But we can't boo our own players. We can't do it. I would never boo Jack Robinson coming onto the pitch. I would never boo, his name being read out at the start of a team selection, because he's a blade and he's playing for us, and he wants to be as good as Virgil van Dijk. Of course he does. He wants to be the best player he can be. He's not trying to make mistakes. No player ever is. So I can still have an opinion on him, and I can voice that opinion because that's what this channel and this platform is for. But it's never, it's underlying and underpinned by support for him and the team. So I will always give you my honest opinion. I'm not going to change doing that because that's what we're built on, is people having the opportunity to give their own opinions on players and who should be playing and what they think of the talent of the players. They are on a pedestal. They are in a privileged position because of the talent they have, and it comes with the territory. He's very well compensated for being criticised, but by the same token, you should still be behind him. If he's selected on Monday and he does really well in the game, or even if he doesn't do that well in the game, we'll still want him to do well. Whether I want him on the pitch or not is a different question to whether I want him to do well when he's on the pitch. I hope that's clear, and I hope that's obvious to what I'm trying to say. Whenever anybody is wearing the red and white stripes, whether it be Jack Robinson, Jay McEverley, Dean Hammond, we support them, don't we? We might not rate them at the highest standard of Sheffield United players, but get behind them. And that message goes for Monday night, and it certainly will go for the 24th of May if we're fortunate enough to get there. So in Wilder we trust. He has got us to this position. He has got us to a 3-0 advantage in the first game. How can we question what he's doing? We can't. We can't. We might not agree with the way that we've got there or the players he's picked to get there. Whatever he's done, it's been successful. So credit to Wilder, credit to the team, credit to Jack Robinson for the way he played the other night as well. And let's get behind him. Just finishing the last few questions. Maury says no in terms of the way I think I sung his song there. Mark Meljo saying, dance with me, make me sway. Ragsaki running down the wing, scoring goals. Hear the Shoreham sing. I'm not sure that fits quite well. Maybe hear Shoreham sing. Maybe, I think you're going to struggle to get a crowd to sing when marimba rhythm starts to play. Maybe. Maury's not a fan. And then Mark, actually, that's not bad. It must have meant his own version is useless and Mark's version is decent. The crap comment was to the Brooksy one that he put out. I do think the Burrows one needs a little tweak. We'll get there, mate. We'll get there. I'll see what you put in as your sing song. That'll test your confidence, pal. Cooler King says, I can understand fans booing if the whole team has underperformed or been thrashed, but booing individual players in the team just isn't on. It's not something we should ever do, no matter our personal opinions. It should not. It should not be the case. And I think it is a minority that Danny's referring to. Again, apologies because I haven't read the article in full. I've only scanned it. But I just wanted to make my position clear, is that my opinion doesn't change on him, but there's a limit in there, and you've got to back your team. Dance with me, make me sway, says Wayne. Hope you're well, Jimmy. I am, pal. Hope you are too. Thank you to everybody for joining us this morning. I'm now this afternoon we'll be setting off to the Caravan. We were supposed to be going early, but Chris Wilder changed our plans. I don't know whether Sophie's actually made football because I haven't spoken to Mrs. Wilder. I haven't spoken to Mrs. Wilder. I haven't spoken to Mrs. Ramble. And we're going to leave it there. Can you tell I'm tired? Can you tell? Well, hopefully not that tired, but we will see. Look, next stop for me is beautiful downtown Bramall Lane. That is the next Blades related stop. So we will hopefully see a lot of you there. Selena and Triple Point, our pre-match bars, will be in there. We'll then be on the John Street, trying to find our new seats as well, because we've switched seats on the John Street. So we'll have a little look, see if we can find those. Our last time sitting where we've been sitting for the last few years. Yeah, and we'll hopefully be celebrating. The plan at the moment is to do a 90 after 90 direct on the Tuesday at 6 o'clock before we do the Rivals watch along of the second leg. But we'll see how that goes on Monday night, because we may jump on late if we're in the mood. If we're going to Wembley, then we may jump on late. So keep your notifications on, and then you can join us there. But for now, come on, you red and white wizards. All the Blades!